So I wanted to reintroduce myself as more than a girl that's just traveling because my life has become a lot more than that. Currently, I mean, more than just recently, over the last couple of years, I've been working on bringing up this movement that I like to call Return to Roots movement, but it is something that a lot of people have already been doing, and that is reconnecting to nature, reconnecting to ourselves, like through getting to know ourselves, through our ancestry, reconnecting to spirit and reconnecting to each other through community. It was a really big trend that I noticed was going on in the world, and I wanted to bring it more to the mainstream because I noticed that there was a lot more people that did not know where to start, and I wanted to assist in that. And I felt that the best way that I could help with that was gatherings, because for me, through experiencing gatherings through my travels, that is what really brought me to the real communal way of living and imagining, like envisioning how our future can be, like how we all can be living. It's like a really small scale version of that. So I started doing gatherings, and now I'm planning a music festival later this year. And all of this is around getting those people that want something different out of life than what we've been indoctrinated into believing is normal. So the goal with these gatherings was to show people that wanted to find a different way of living and didn't know where to start, give them that experience, as well as opening people up that can't imagine anything else, that doesn't know that there could be any other way of life, giving them that firsthand experience rather than just saying, hey, we could be living this way. But when you actually like live through it and experience it, your world like of possibilities opens up. And another thing that I've been working towards connecting with for a while through education and connecting with people, and I don't know, just trying to get myself to the spot to be able to get to do this and just manifesting it into my life, is this really important land back project I'm working on, which is more than just a land back mission, which I know if you know about land back, it's already more than just asking for land back. For the people that think that it's just, oh, we want our land back, like, no, it's more than that. It is trying to get back to nature and take care of her how she needs, reestablishing that natural order and tending to the land as we were put here to do. For most normal people to understand everything that's going on, I've found it very hard to explain to them what this means, because unless you're already very awake, it's hard to understand this. And I can only imagine, because I've always been super open minded and have always wanted to live this way, even like as a child. So to explain this to people that, I don't know, were very heavily indoctrinated, it's been a challenge, but I'm going to attempt to explain that to you guys by, I guess, bringing it back to um, my journey and me discovering more and getting in touch with spirituality and what that has meant on my journey of traveling. Because like I said, it's been a lot more than just traveling. Like, it has been a very deeply spiritual journey. And for me, and I know a lot of other people, like a lot of other travelers that I've met over the years, you cannot live this life and not reconnect to spirit, not reconnect to nature. If you are living this lifestyle, you become one with everything. Like, you cannot help but see how connected everything is, and you cannot go back. So real quick, I wanted to bring it back to just early on in my life, because I know a lot of other people can relate. I was very interested in witchcraft when I was younger. My aunt gave me like a little spell book, and it was a very like white magic spell book. It was like, I don't know, like love things and whatever, connecting to the earth and everything. I just really liked the aesthetic and the energy of it. And my dad freaked out when he found it. He made me throw it away, and then he made me read the Bible after that. So he was like forcing Christianity onto me, even though he didn't believe it himself. That was just, again, one of the things that people are indoctrinated into believing, like this is what's normal, this is what is right. But a lot of people don't really believe it themselves. They think that that's what they're supposed to do, and a lot of people are scared to think for themselves. I never felt like I never connected with that. I didn't not believe in a God. I just did not believe in the Bible. Um, at least with the way that people say that Jesus is God and all of that. Over the years, I'm gonna get into that, but like over the last few years of traveling and digging into spirituality, I have my own view on that. But growing up, I always felt like there was some sort of creator, but I just did not know what it was. I just did not, the Bible did not resonate with me. And eventually, like after graduating and stuff, I started getting into psychedelics, and that started opening me up into what it started bringing me closer to what I felt God was, because it helped me connect with nature more. Everything was very beautiful, everything was fractal, seeing the mandalas everywhere. I would be out in nature doing it and just really connecting to how beautiful everything is and how connected everything is, and really making me appreciate that again and bringing me back to nature and grounding me like that. I've tried explaining that to people. I had a conversation once with my uncle trying to explain this to him, who was very Christian, by the way. And he, I don't know, it was really interesting conversation trying to explain this to him, because this was at a time that I didn't really know how to explain it to people. And he just thought it was crazy. He was like, "Yeah, honestly, this sounds like bullshit." I was like, "Okay, well, I could say the same thing about the Bible, but I'm not going to go that way because we all believe in different things. It's just different means of connecting to the same thing." So, anyways, back to my experiences with psychedelics. I started off with mushrooms. It was my first one that I've done, but I did a lot of acid. So I had like a phase of like just doing a lot of LSD, and I feel like different psychedelics are different tools for different things. It's helped me connect, I think, a lot to nature and appreciating things, life, spirit, really thinking deep about things, like seeing things for what they are. I feel like it helped me connect to the outside world a lot and like really have things reveal themselves to me. And I guess I should add, because this is a big part of the story, I did it a lot with my ex. So we did a lot of LSD together, and he was the person that I first started traveling with and in my van. So during that time, we both were kind of opened up to this world, but I think, no, definitely more myself than him. Still very stuck in the matrix, and I was growing and changing and learning, growing a lot spiritually. So I it was a really abusive relationship, and I started to see that in finding my way out of it. We ended up traveling for the first few months together in my van. I started getting more into spirituality. I started, I don't know, being connected to crystals and herbs. I came across my first witchcraft book in a really long time. It was The Green Witch, and I went to a bookstore and it just like popped up at me. And I couldn't stop thinking about this book. Like I wanted to get it and I didn't get it at the time, but then like it would pop up on my feeds like on ads and stuff, and then it was on Amazon. I was like, "Okay, I have to get this book." So I got the audiobook of it, and it started just reconnecting me deeper to all those things. Like it was all about like candle magic and crystals and herbs and the seasons and connecting with nature and all of that. So I started really reconnecting in that way. Oh, and shadow work. When I heard about shadow work, that kind of changed everything for me. Like, I started really getting into healing myself and growing spiritually, and that brought me like even it made me stronger for me to be able to break up with my ex and leave him in San Francisco. I kicked him out of my van and I ended up starting to travel by myself, and that brought me to a lot of healing and working on myself. I decided, like, it was over a 2 year relationship, and I was like, I want to be single. I do not want to give my time or myself to anyone. I want to spend the next few years learning about myself, healing myself, loving myself. Like, I am going to be by myself until I could master that, because I am not going to get into another abusive relationship. I am not going to do that to myself. And I really want to grow into a full person. So that was the start of my journey by myself, and it has been very beautiful. It's been over 3 years now since I broke up with him, and there has been so much growth, so much learning. I've shedded over and over and over again. That first year of me making that decision, I started really reconnecting with myself. And a big part of that was reconnecting to my lineage. I started really reconnecting to my indigenous side, which I'd done so very quietly because of me being mixed and being very white, and knowing the sensitivities within the community, how others can feel about that and react to it. So I just really started learning as much as I can without knowing the tribe that I came from, because that's a whole nother issue and challenge. So I just started learning about different creation stories and connecting to different spirits, and it was very easy to do living on the road because I just talked more to nature. I just felt the earth more. I called out to my guides, to my ancestors, to just the earth to show me messages and stuff. And I started having animals connecting with me. The first year, I seen lots of snakes everywhere, and I was going through heavy transformation. And I was, like I said, I was just shedding over and over again. And that was like the start of connecting to different animal spirits. Another one was the owl, and then this last year was the phoenix. I know it's a more mythological creature, but I was given the name Phoenix last year at my job, and it just so happened to be one of the most spiritually, powerfully growing years of my life. It was seriously so powerful for me. I am not the same person at all that I was a year ago. I jumped ahead so much last year. I became a new person over and over and over again. It's insane. But before I get into that, I want to bring it back to the psychedelics, because after I broke up with my ex, I stopped doing LSD and I started cultivating my relationship more with mushrooms. And they became such a big teacher for me. I started connecting with the spirit of the mushrooms. It started with one of my partners giving me microdoses, and I would do the microdoses, and I started to do it. Just naturally started helping me do shadow work. It would bring things up and, like, from my life. Like, one time I was getting ready for work, and It was a bit stronger than a microdose. I had like an extra 30 minutes or something, so I like laid on my bed, and that's when it started to hit me more. And I was like, whoa. And it brought up like this thing from my childhood, and I was like, oh, okay, this happened in my childhood, and this is why I'm like this now. But now that I know this, I could heal this, and I don't have to be like that anymore. So it like really leveled up my shadow work, because before I was just kind of like journaling, doing prompts and stuff, which also was very helpful, but the mushrooms helped so much. And then over time, I kind of just, whenever I would take mushrooms, I would like set an intention and just like talk to the spirits of the mushroom and kind of just like sit with it, meditate with it for a bit, just ask it to show me things that I needed to see. And like, show me what I want to see, show me what I need to see. And every single time I did that, it did exactly that. I uncovered a lot doing that, healed a lot doing that, and developed a very good relationship with the mushrooms, and to the point where like the spirit of the mushrooms, like they feel very much like ancestral for me. Like the relationship that I have with them is very crazy. The way that they communicate with me during my trips, like telepathically, it is a very special experience, and I appreciate all the things that they have done for me. They have aided me so much in my spiritual growth, and I suggest to people that want to do it, because I know a lot of people get scared from it or have had bad experiences, whatever, bad trips. And I like to suggest like always doing it with intention, asking, like connecting with the mushroom spirit, asking for something specific, setting an intention, and then being ready for it to show you your demons. Like, from what I've heard, people that have bad trips, you're seeing your demons, and you have to be open to like, you are not the best person, you're not the perfect person, you're not always the nicest person, you're not, you've done some fucked up shit, whatever it is, and it is going to show you that. And it's going to show you, if you're a terrible person, it's going to show you you're a terrible person. That's why people have bad trips, and that's why they get scared or they don't like mushrooms. And for me, like the whole point of doing the psychedelics, it's a tool for spiritual growth. It's a tool for you to become a better person. And if you're doing something like mushrooms and you're just trying to get high and you're a terrible person, the mushroom's going to check your ass. But anyway, sorry about the rant. I'm not going to get into that too much. Let me continue on to my travels. So that was all going on. My first couple of years of traveling was a lot of fun. Like, it was very, I did not I did not have that much experience with a lot of happiness or fun in my life. I went through a lot of depression. So my first couple of years of traveling was just bliss. I was just having fun, meeting people, having all these experiences, just doing lots of fun shit, seeing a lot, and it was amazing. But like, all of this was going on at the same time. But then came a point of, it really started with the protest when the George Floyd protest was going on. Um, a bit more background context. I've always been a very compassionate person when it comes to things in the world, especially like environmentalism, social issues, and stuff. So when the protest popped off, that is what like sparked me to be more of an activist, because I've always spoke out against things. I've always tried, just like within my personal life, to do things to better the world, but I've always been super introverted and super non-confrontational and not wanting to be in the public eye, that I never thought that I could be a leader. I was one of the people that were like, when are we going to have a leader again, like Malcolm X? When are we going to have our MLK? Like, when are they going to pop up? when is that going to happen? And realizing that somebody has to step up and do it. And that's why I learned during the protest, when over the time when I was participating in that and really getting active within social movement or social issues, and getting deeper into like, why aren't more people caring, why aren't more people doing things? So that's when I started doing things like, someone has to do it. But that time like really sparked something in me, and that was when I decided, I've had a fun time during my travels. Like, I've had fun over these last 2 years. I've done me, I've done all these things. Let me do something that's giving back. Like, I've had fun, I've had my fun. Now I could give my time back to the world, back to community, and start doing something that's more than myself. During that next year, after all the protests, I written all these messages on my van, and it had stuff like Black Lives Matter, ban private prisons, you're on stolen land, all kinds of shit like that. And I had a lot of conversations with people over that year. It taught me a lot. I had a lot of grown ass men threatening to do stuff to me or to fuck up my van, whatever. I had a lot of racist people screaming at me. But then I also had a lot of conversations with people. I had people that, like, older people that were like, I understand, but your messages are a bit aggressive. Or, like, why do you have these messages? Like, I'm not saying I disagree, but, like, why? Why do you need to put it on your van? Why do you need to say that? Why do you need to say Black Lives Matter and all this stuff? And also a lot of other people that were just like, yeah, it's really cool, I love what you're doing. Like, I remember one time I was having this conversation with a couple of girls that were from Atlanta. It was during the protest. They're like, I like your van, this and that. And then this lady comes just screaming at me in the back, and I turn around, I'm like, we could talk about it. And she's just like still screaming. She's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I just keep talking to them, and they were like, do you always take it well like that? Like, do you always handle it so well? I'm like, not really, but I mean, I'd rather give my energy to you guys than to her. And like, at that moment, like that taught me a lesson of just having the patience for just dumb, ignorant people like that. And it's like, what do you want to put your energy towards? Because like, there's always going to be people that are mad at you and that are yelling at you and they're angry, and you could choose to react back in that way, or you could choose to use your energy in a different way and have actual conversations like that, and like build connections, and like not deal with that. Like, you know that they're gonna stay in their ways, and it's like, you're just going to be wasting energy trying to talk to these people, trying to talk sense into them, because you're not going to. So it's like, it's just better to have more constructive conversations. So I had a lot of lessons like that over the year. Lots of conversations taught me a lot. It was a really interesting year. And then I started at about the year mark, I started to have bad dreams about people breaking into my van, like smashing out all my windows while I'm sleeping and stuff. Like, it started to get weird. Like, I started to um just have really, yeah, just like really weird feelings. And like, by that time, I've developed my intuition very well over the last few years of traveling, because you have to, when you're traveling, that's just something that you learn to do. Like, your intuition gets so strong, you learn how to read everything, energies, the environment, your dreams, interpreting messages from the earth. Like, you just start to learn those things. So I took these dreams as a sign. Like, I just started to not feel safe in my van. So I was like, okay, I think it's lived, these messages have lived out their life, and it served a very good purpose, a very good just lots of learning lessons, gave me a lots of growth. Like I said, I took a lot of that in and grew a lot as a person. And especially, like, everything that I've been through in the last few years have prepared me to where I'm at now. Like, all those conversations and all of these confrontations have led me to be able to do the work that I'm doing now and give me a direction of what I want to do and what needs to be done. So I ended up erasing my van. I finally cleaned it off after a year. And another thing that I've noticed too, like, it's time when it's time to let go of something, it's because something else is coming in. So like that next phase of my life was like me really needing to take care of myself because I kind of just let my mental health go. Am a I'm a what is it? I'm a recovering people pleaser. And I have a lot of issues with putting other people's needs before my own and not taking care of myself. And during that time, I want to say it was 2021. During that time, like end of 2021, I let my mental health go so far. It was really bad. So I learned that I needed to start taking care of myself, and like the mushrooms were screaming at me to do that. Like every time I did mushrooms, like it was like, you shouldn't be doing this. Why are you partying, or why are you doing this for these people when you should be taking care of yourself? You should be resting. You should be doing your shadow work. And it was like the mushrooms would get louder and louder to the point where like I was at Renegade Man and they fucking screamed at me. Like I had a breakdown and everything. I was like, okay, I need to go. And I like packed up. I just drove from Portland all the way down to Renegade Man. I was only there for a day. And the mushrooms screamed at me. They're like, get your ass to Tahoe. Go start taking care of yourself. So I moved to Tahoe for the winter, and I started like trying to deal with all of that. But it was bringing me into my next point in life where I began this work with Return to Roots. Like that was the start of it. Once I got to Tahoe, I stayed there over the winter, and I had a safe space where I didn't need to worry about all these things. I didn't need to worry about breakdowns, which, because by the way, I just broke down in my van and had to sell my van and ended up getting a CRV, which did not feel as safe as the van. So I was like, I need a break. And I took a break from the road, and I needed to be around people was what it was. Like it was really nice being around my friends, because the people that I was living with were some people that helped me when my van broke down in Tahoe that summer. I stayed with them for a week, became really good friends with them. So they had a room open up, and I stayed with them, and that was when I started doing all of the work for Return to Roots. Like I got into it. Well, actually, that's not true. I started it, I think, in June of 2021 was when I started doing planning, and it started off as something else. But anyways, when I got to Tahoe is when I started really building it up. And I want to bring it back to when I said that I wanted to do more with my life, like the road, living on the road and connecting with nature and spirit and everything has taught me that like my life is not just my own. Like I don't know how to explain this without denouncing the individual, because like individuality is important. Like us as individuals, like yes, respecting ourselves, loving ourselves, like knowing ourselves as individuals, but then knowing that everything is so connected, that like we're not just individuals. It doesn't matter how far you remove yourself from everything or you think that you do, everything is connected. And realizing that within nature really gave me a different perspective on life, where my life wasn't my own, where I can't just live for myself. Like I can't go off and fuck around and get high at a festival and just do that all summer. Like I tried doing that at Renegade Man, and it just like it did not work. Like I feel bad, like I should be doing more. Like there is more, especially at this time in human history, within world history. We could be doing so much more. Like our life should not just be our own at this moment. Like yes, we are important, and it is important to give ourselves time, to ourselves. But this is a very important time in history where we need to fucking do something, and we need to start connecting with each other. We need to start serving the world the way that we're supposed to. Like, we were put here as humans, as land tenders for the earth. That is why we were given the things that we have been given by nature. We were given food, water, shelter, medicine. We're given all the things that we need to live. And we're just taking, we're not giving anything back. And it is time for us to get back to that. In knowing that, I feel like I just wanted to dedicate my life to serving the world. I mean, that is what we're supposed to do. And since like really finding this passion of like just following what I want to do, like I've always wanted to work in some sort of like environmentalist something, like working with nature, working with the world, doing things for people. I've always wanted to work in that way, but like we all have been told that's not going to make money, do something that makes money. So I didn't follow my passion, like I didn't pursue those things that I wanted to do. And like me realizing now that me going against all the things that I've ever wanted to do, me not following truth, me not following passion and the things that I love, that is what made my life hard. When you like the universe wants you to follow your, if you read The Alchemist, your personal legend. The universe wants you to follow your personal legend. It is you will flow so much easier with the universe if you do that. And if you don't, then you're just going to make it harder for yourself. It's just like trying to swim against the current. You're going to go through all these obstacles that you don't have to do. If you do what you love in life, your life will be so much easier. And when I realized that, like all these things that are happening for me in my life right now, it's so crazy. Like as things happen, dude, I've literally wrote some of this shit down like 7 years ago. I'm 25 now. Some of these things I wrote down when I was 18. Like all the things that I'm like collabing now with my friends, like I've manifested all of these things into my life. Like these are the things that I want to do. And now that I am pursuing these things in my life that I want to do, I want to help people, I want to build things, I want to connect with nature, like I want to I want to serve the world, I want to help indigenous nations rise and connect and have people come back to nature. And now that like I have dedicated my life to this mission, everything has been coming so easily into my life. Like I am just manifesting and attracting abundance like crazy. And I want more people to realize that if you do that, that the same could happen for you. Like just learn about the universal laws, connect with spirit, connect with nature. And the more you do this and the more you let go of the things that don't serve you, the things that you don't like, the things that don't make you happy, as hard as it is, like people that don't serve you, just energetic vampires. Like if you let go of all of these things, you are making room in your life for the things that you do want. Like you're showing the universe, I'm saying no to these frequencies that don't serve me. I am not allowing this frequency into my life. I'm allowing this frequency into my life, because that's what it is. There's universe doesn't recognize good or bad. It recognizes frequencies. So if this lower vibrational person is doing these things to you and you're wondering why you keep attracting all these people that do these things to you, well, you're allowing it. So once you start saying no to these people and you don't let them in your life, then the universe is going to recognize that and not give you that anymore. It's going to give you the things that you do accept. And all the shit I've learned in the last 4 years of traveling, I have learned so much. I highly suggest this kind of lifestyle or something like it, or just getting outside of your comfort zone, because the more you do that and the more you're willing to grow, the more you are willing, that you are humble enough to admit that you're not the best, admit that you're not perfect, admit that you have growing to do always, forever, because you're going to grow till the day you die. I don't care how old you are, you have lots of growing to do still. And if you don't think so, that's just proof that you need to let go of your ego. So if you really want to change your life and you really want something different, like, you really have to let go and, like, be willing to face your ego and be willing to see your imperfections and see that you are not always the best person and that you have toxic traits yourself, and yeah, that you have lots to change, because the more you do that, like, you will become a better person, you will grow. And also remember to always do it out of kindness for yourself, because that was something that I struggled with a lot, was judging myself for all these things, for not being perfect, for having these thoughts, for doing this, for feeling like a bad person, whatever. Having the kindness to knowing that you're not perfect, and especially if you're young. I know it's really hard for us in our 20s, that we think that we're supposed to have everything figured out, and in reality, for us in our 20s, we're unfucking ourselves from society and from teachers and from parents and family and stuff. We're undoing all the fuck shit that people done to us, and we're having to relearn how to be a person all over again for what works for us. So we cannot be too hard on ourselves for not knowing the way, for taking longer than other people. Like, that has been the thing that has saved me the most, is always reminding myself to be kinder to myself, because it saves so much with the beating yourself up and all the judgment and all of that, just feeling bad. Yeah, anyways, I already know this video is way too long, so I'm gonna just cut it there. There's so much more I could go off on, but I'm going to say that for other videos. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about how, because I know on Instagram or like whatever, it looks very different. Like, when you see the travel pictures, videos, that it just looks like all, it is fun and beautiful. It is. But I want people to know it's more than that. Like, I don't believe that you could live this lifestyle. Like, it's impossible to live this lifestyle and not grow so much and not be open to, like, not drop out of the matrix. Like, people that have not traveled like this, I don't think can ever understand until they experience it for themselves. And that's why I want to bring, like, those elements to people that haven't experienced this through my Return to Roots gatherings, like through any of the events that I throw. It is going to have elements of that to show people, to help people get a little taste of what that is, because it really is such a beautiful life, and I would not change any of it. I would not go back. I can't go back. I can't do the regular life no more, and I love this life so much, and it has done so much for me, and I love the person that it has made me become so far. I think I forgot to say it in the beginning since I was reintroducing myself. I'm Sydney. Thank you for watching this, if you watched this far. And yeah, please keep up, because I definitely have some stories to share. I'm going to be posting more about my experiences and stuff like this, because there is a lot of messages that I've been given from the earth and just through my experiences that I'd like to share. So yeah, please subscribe, like, interact, all of that, all the things, and see you soon. And don't forget to check out the Return to Roots movement channel, because that is where I'm going to have all my project things. They are very important, so you should definitely check that out.